It is overtime here again at Old Favorite Friday. My name is Kevin Abbott, and I'm here at Barrel Amongst Brewing, as always, talking about our favorite beers, some of the great beers in the history of the brewing industry, beers that we don't think get enough love and attention that they absolutely should be getting at this point of being so classic and so incredible to the industry. And this beer right here is Old Dog Brown Ale by Smuttynose. Smuttynose, if you guys have been following the channel here and seeing these videos, we've featured several beers from Smuttynose recently. Finest Kind IPA, which is actually in this mix pack here, as well as their Robust Porter. I was thrilled to see that Smuttynose, which I don't think was down here in South Florida and available near me for quite a while, is back down and back available. And I was just, rummaging through Total Wine and More, and I'd already done the other beers, and I saw this mix pack, and I saw Old Brown Dog. This beer takes me back. This is a beer I had very early on in my craft beer journey. I love brown ales, porters, malty, darker beers are beers that I absolutely love. I have a big passion for these kind of beers, as you can tell by being the owner of a Belgian brewery that does a lot of malty, bigger, dark beers. But brown ales in general, I'm old enough to remember when every single craft brewery in the United States did a brown ale. And unfortunately, we just don't, the market for those beers is not what it used to be. And it's a damn shame that we have to get a beer like this in a 12-pack to enjoy it and only get 3 of these beers, which is crazy. It's funny, I recently did a Bell's review of their best brown ale. Same thing. It's available in a limited edition 12-pack. So, man, guys, support breweries that make great brown ales because I want to get those in 6-packs. Again, it would be wonderful. But forget that. Let's talk about this beer in general. Smuttynose is a fantastic brewery. I love their beers. Pretty much everything they do is spot on, especially that older line of beers that they made for years and years. This beer won a silver medal at GABF back in 1989. So, I mean, really, we're talking about old favorite Fridays, beers that have been around a long time. This beer definitely qualifies. When I'm 8 years old, when this beer was winning its first medal. It is listed as an American brown ale, and American brown ales, for those of you who don't know, tend to go a little hoppier than English-style brown ales, which tend to be a little bit sweeter. Now, I don't have a date of when this was. No, this is relatively fresh beer. So this says a Best By date that has not passed yet, so it's still fresh. What I was going to say is I thought maybe some of the hops had kind of fallen off a little bit. I'm not getting a lot of bitterness. I'm getting a little bit of a hop backbone, but it's definitely not as strong or as hoppy as a lot of American brown ales are. I'm getting a little more of an English vibe. It's got that sweet black bread kind of flavor going on. I'm getting like a raisin bread situation here. It's molasses or brown sugar. It's not sweet by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm getting more malt, plumpness, chewiness of this beer, and less of kind of like the more bitter or herbal flavors that sometimes accompany American-style brown ales. I personally lean more in the sweeter brown ales. I like English-style brown ales just a little bit more. I love the style in general, but if I had to pick a preference, it would be something like this. This is really nice. I'm getting dark fruit in here, more like a little bit of black cherry or blackberry on the nose. Yeah, I mean, it's just really complex. I'm getting a little bit of hot bitterness now as I'm drinking it in the back, and a little structure to add to the beer. So, I mean, really a complex beer. This is another beer that I would really suggest. Americans, we drink our beer way too cold. I just did a beer event recently, and everyone, all they could do is talk about how they wanted the beer as cold as possible. Give me the coldest one. Reach down to the bottom of the cooler. Craft beer, you don't really want to drink ice cold. You mute flavors when you do that. This beer, as it warms up, is actually going to be even more expressive. I just took this out of the cooler. But this is a great example of a beer that it is just ridiculously complex. Every sip I'm tasting something different, and that will be more so as the beer gets a little bit warmer. Not warm, but a little bit warmer. And this is one I'm going to take down really quickly. This is fantastic. I mean, just so happy that Smuttynose is here and we've been able to do now 3 beers. There's other beers that they make that I'm not even sure are still in their portfolio. They made a Baltic Porter years ago that I thought was fantastic, and a bunch of other stuff that I've seen kind of retired on their website that I hope they bring back. But if you see this mix pack in your local store, you're going to have Finest Kind IPA, which I liked enough to also feature on Old Favorite Friday. The lager is really good. The hazy IPA it's not my favorite hazy IPA, but it's solid. So this is a really nice pack to pick up. But the superstar for me here, as much as I love Finest Kind, is the Old Dog Brown Ale. So do that. Pick this beer up. Do yourself a favor if you can find it. Support Smuttynose. Once again, support breweries that are doing brown ales and bring this back. Let's bring brown ales back into the public consciousness so that those beers are more available for all of us who love these beers to enjoy. When we're talking about beer and food pairings, we always like to do here. Brown ales are really versatile. You can do a ton of different things with this. People always talk about barbecue with brown ale, burgers, brats, things of that nature. A little more specific, I like a dry rub with a brown ale because especially one like this, it adds a little bit of sweetness to it. I think that goes really, really well together with the spices. You don't really need like a thick, sweet barbecue sauce with this. You've got some of those flavors that come off the brown ale, the smoked flavors. A Reuben, a nice Reuben sandwich, I think would be dynamite with this brown ale. That's on my mind because I just recently had a Reuben for one of our beer and food pairing videos. So that was a present of mine for me. And then kind of an off the wall one, chorizo. Smoked meats do really, really well with brown ales. I think chorizo with the spiciness of it and this kind of the mouthfeel and the richness of it could go really, really well with this brown ale, especially this one that has a little bit of sweetness, something that's not kind of traditionally with that chorizo flavor with the spiciness. I think it could work really well together, especially like a chorizo kind of taco, something of that nature. But that would be a fun thing to try. Guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Please like, follow, subscribe to this this channel so that you can get these videos as soon as they come out. Please keep telling us what we should be drinking next time for Old Favorite Friday. We always appreciate your interactions. Let us know if you picked this beer up and if you love it as much as we do. It might be hard to love it as much as I do, but maybe within that ballpark. And then we'll see you next week. Cheers.